Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking once again about our upcoming major snowstorm that is possible for this weekend. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content. And also make sure to share this video with your friends and family if they live in the impacted regions. Now let's get right into things. Now we're starting out with our storm track map here, and this is kind of going to be a sort of nor'easter storm actually, one of the first of the year that shapes up to be kind of a coastal storm. It's going to stay pretty well offshore. It's actually going to transfer from inland out into the east coast of the United States, just about offshore of New Jersey is what we're thinking right now, and then maybe tracking over Cape Cod. That could be further north or further west, which would have major implications to this storm, whether it's east, west, north, south, where it trends. We have a couple days for stuff like that to take place, and that would definitely change a lot. But as of right now, in this white region, we have a moderate chance and could be major in these regions, but not the most chance of being major. But there's a moderate chance of seeing a decent amount of snowfall within these regions. And we do have a second one here, and this is going to be our highest chance to be major. And it's a little bit further inland, far away from that low pressure system, and that's going to be areas that are more safe from mixing, would be having less chance of seeing rain, more chance of seeing more snow. And really, this one has the chance to be one of the more major snowstorms we've seen all season. So definitely a major snowstorm is going to be somewhere. The track and where it's going to be is a little bit more of a question mark. We're kind of starting to pinpoint it to more of the interior regions here of the northeastern United States. As you can see, within this light blue shade is the most likely region. Areas like Scranton, Syracuse, Albany, Burlington, Portland, almost Boston, Bangor, Holton, all these regions looking for the potential for a major snowstorm. Now we're about to move on and start looking at your simulated radar. We're going to break down frame by frame what this storm is really going to do over the next few days. Alright, so as you can see here, this is going to be right around Friday evening, about 8 p.m. on January 24th here, and we have a low pressure system located right around Chicago actually, and there's some rain, some snow. You can see it's kind of a sloppy mess at this storm, a little bit of cold in place, but not very potent cold whatsoever. Let's move on, and by the next morning, this is going to be 8 a.m. on Saturday morning, January 25th, we see it is moving further and further east. We have some low pressure building there towards the east coast, and it's really broadening out. We see some snow starting up for upstate New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. That's as that cold moves in and that low pressure, again, builds kind of offshore of the mid-Atlantic states there. And then as we move towards that afternoon and evening, you can see the main low pressure system is located offshore of New Jersey, just where we showed it on that previous frame. And this is really going to help allow the cold air to move in behind it. And we're going to start to see more and more snow there for Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, all of these states getting colder and more precipitation by this point. Now we're about to move on towards Saturday night into Sunday, and this is when things are going to start to get really snowy for New England and the Northeast and some regions of the Mid-Atlantic as well. All right, now this is a very unique system. It's very interesting how it kind of relocates itself offshore of New Jersey there, and then the cold has to build in behind it. Very, very unique system here. We see at this point, this is going to be about 8 p.m. on Saturday, January 25th still. We have moderate snow building in there for portions of West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Virginia, Pennsylvania. Obviously, this isn't final, but very interesting to see some snowfall going on, at least mixed precipitation with some snowflakes going on in some of the regions that haven't seen so much. Obviously, West Virginia has seen a lot, but Kentucky, Ohio, Virginia, that's kind of, not so much of what we've seen so far this winter. We see areas in northeastern Pennsylvania doing well here with moderate to heavy snow, areas of northern Connecticut, in through Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and a lot of upstate New York as well. Again, that's what I've been saying during this entire storm, the time we've been tracking it. I think upstate New York is the bullseye here, maybe through Pennsylvania, central, northern Pennsylvania, and then maybe through up into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine there. We're going to move forward, and this is going to be by about 2 a.m., and you can see things start to really intensify as our low pressure is now located kind of near, I would say, Cape Cod. It could be further east, further west, further north, further south, like I said, and that's not going to really change the intensity. Well, I guess if it is over the water, it will be a little bit more intense or more inclined to be intense. But really, that placement is going to affect who's seeing snow and who's seeing rain and where that heaviest snow is going to set up. But if it moves right over that Rhode Island up through just south of Boston region, then we're probably going to see our heaviest snow set up somewhere in near Albany, there on the Vermont, New Hampshire, just north of the Massachusetts border, I would say. But this is by 2 a.m. on Sunday, and this is really the look. Very heavy snow there for areas just to the north of New Jersey, some areas there in northeastern Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Vermont border, and then Massachusetts, New Hampshire border as well, seeing that very moderate to heavy snow, but all the way up through Albany, central regions of Vermont and New Hampshire as well, seeing some moderate snow. Pretty intense there as well. Now we're about to move on a frame where things are going to continue to intensify, and we're going to see where that low pressure system looks to move after this point as we head towards Sunday morning. Alright, so by this point you can see that moderate snow is still sticking around there for upstate New York, Albany, down through almost New York City at this point. As the low pressure system moves out, we see cold air move in. Pennsylvania, it's kind of finishing up. Upstate New York, we have snow showers to the west, but we still see heavy snow there along that very eastern region of New York, obviously. Then areas in the more middle portions and southern portions of Vermont, and then almost all of New Hampshire, I would say, are experiencing moderate snow there. And then Maine, the western half, and especially that southwestern portion, is seeing very heavy snow, where the heaviest is located in between New Hampshire and Maine by this point. You can see the low pressure system is located a little bit further north than what I showed on my map, and that's because some of the models have it further south than what the GFS is showing. Let's move on another frame towards that afternoon, and you can see this storm is pretty consistent. We don't see too much mixing, which is interesting because that's typically what we've seen with a lot of these storms. But the moderate snow is located mostly for Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine by this point, with very heavy snow along the coast of Maine as the low pressure system moves more and more offshore. That's going to allow that cold air to reach the coast. And then by time we're at about 8 p.m. Sunday night, this is the look: moderate snow for Maine and New Hampshire. Then here's going to be by 2 a.m. on Monday, January 27th. We see some snow showers lingering there for Maine, and then by the time we reach Monday morning, it's basically all said and done. Now we're about to get into our modeled snowfall forecast here. We're going to go over the GFS, Canadian model, and the European model as well. Very interesting to see how much snow we're expecting with this system as of right now. Alright, now starting out with our GFS model, you can see in our blue colors, that's where we're looking at about a dusting to 3 inches of snow. As we move into the purples, though, that's where we're looking at about 3 to 6 inches of snow. And then in those pinks, which you can see there's a little bit there for West Virginia, but mostly for northeastern Pennsylvania, through upstate New York, in through the very western portions of Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and then coastal Maine, kind of the 2/3 that are closest to the coast there, all experiencing those pink colors, which is going to be 6 to 12 inches of snow, and then some scattered in greens indicating areas of 12 to 24 inches of snow. So this is looking to be a major snowstorm with high potential to bring 1 foot plus snow amounts. Let's move on to that Canadian model, and you can see it's mostly there for New York and Pennsylvania. Keep in mind the Canadian model only updates every 12 hours as opposed to the GFS that updates every 6 hours. So this one's a little bit more outdated, so I'm very curious to see what new information we're going to get on that 12Z run, which will be coming out around 12 p.m. today. We might see a different story, but as of last night's Canadian model run, this is the look. Pink was a little bit further west on this one, as you can see. Let's move to that European ensemble model. Keep in mind, this might look like it's lower amounts, but ensemble models tend to be a little bit more conservative because it's a combination of a lot of different models. So take it with a grain of salt, obviously, but we see those potentials for 6 to 10 inches of snow, especially for Pennsylvania in through New York, and then some of the mountainous regions of Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Connecticut there, experiencing closer to the 10-inch amounts there as well. And then here's our normal European model here. In the blues, 2 to 6 inches of snow. Purples is 6 to 10. Pink is 10 to 20 inches of snow there. So you can see a lot of those pinks throughout Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, and in through Maine. Alright, now I wanted to talk about something at the tail end of this video. People have been talking about how bad this winter has been, so I wanted to go ahead and compare it to other winters, and this is only as according to snowfall. So we're going to go over the snowfall from different winters. I thought this would be fun to do. We're about at the halfway mark of the winter time, so I wanted to go ahead and take a look at it comparatively to other winters over the past 10 years. So starting out with 2011 to 2012, I was a little bit younger then, but I remember this winter being pretty bad as far as snowfall, not really experiencing a lot. So here was our amounts through January 21st. And anywhere in the blue is where we're looking at about a trace to 1 foot of snow total over the entire season to that point. Then in the yellows, it's 1 foot, orange 2, darker orange 3 to 4 feet. And then in the reds, that's where we're at about 4 to 10 feet of snow. So keep that in mind. Here was 2011 to 2012. And then let's look at 2014 to 2015, which I remember being a very good snow season, but it was a tail end one. January and December were not good, and then February was really good. And as you can see, we did have some reds for New England, but it is better than 2011 to 2012 here. So looking like a really good winter there on 2014 to 2015. And then here's 2015 to 2016, which is another one I remember being quite boring. And it was less than 2014 to 2015, but I think better than 2011 to 2012. And then here is 2019 to 2020. And I don't have time to compare all of them to this, frame by frame and show you guys. This video would be a 20-minute long video. But if you go ahead and do that, I've given you guys the frames to look at. You will be able to tell that 2019 to 2020 so far has been better than every single one of those winners that I just showed, especially for the Midwest and New England states, and Mid-Atlantic is at least equal to some of them. Mid-Atlantic has been the most struggle this year so far. South of, I would say, New York and Massachusetts has been the one that's been a little bit below average for sure. But if you look at all those winners, this one is the best out of those for almost all of the areas. So that kind of raises the question, is this winter as bad as people think it's been? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think, given the frames that I've just showed you guys. Let me know what you think of those. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends and family, and I'll see you guys in the next video.